Welcome to Scrum Masters Elite_UK. If you're passionate about rugby and in-depth analysis, be sure to subscribe and join us on this journey.
When looking at the predicted England lineup ahead of the clash with South Africa, what impressed me the most wasn't simply the list of players expected to start, it was the message of change that head coach Steve Borthwick is trying to bring to the national team. After a disappointing Six Nations campaign, it's clear that England cannot continue down the same path if they want to compete with the world's elite teams. To me, this isn't just another friendly or an opportunity to experiment with the squad. It's the first step in rebuilding England's rugby identity. Borthwick's willingness to call up several new faces shows that he is no longer placing all his faith in familiar formulas. I find that exciting because, in elite sport, competition is what drives improvement. When young or uncapped players are given the opportunity to represent their country, they bring ambition, fresh energy, and a different fighting spirit. That's exactly what any team needs after a period of underwhelming performances.
I also appreciate that the coaching staff isn't just changing personnel, they're also changing the way the team plays. Based on what we've seen, England appears to be moving toward a style focused on greater ball possession, making better use of space out wide, and creating high-tempo attacking opportunities. It's a modern approach that demands not only physical strength, but also quick decision-making, accurate passing, and intelligent movement. If this system functions effectively, England could look very different from the somewhat rigid side we've seen in recent years. In the backline, I'm particularly excited by the emphasis on pace and attacking flair. In modern rugby, speed doesn't just help you score tries, it creates a wider variety of attacking options. Players who can consistently stretch the opposition create more space for teammates to exploit. That also reflects a coaching philosophy built around taking the initiative rather than simply reacting to the opponent. The selection that intrigues me the most is Tommy Freeman being used in the midfield rather than in his more familiar position. It's certainly a bold move, but one that carries significant potential. Versatile players are invaluable assets for any national team. When used correctly, they can make an attack much harder to predict because opponents struggle to anticipate their movement and decision-making. Of course, every experiment needs time before it can truly be judged. Success or failure cannot be determined after just one match.
I'm also very interested in the partnership between the half-backs because they dictate the tempo of the game. A great team isn't built solely on outstanding individuals, it depends on strong combinations. When one player controls the rhythm, another injects pace, and everyone else knows exactly when to provide support, the entire system becomes much more fluid. If this partnership can replicate the chemistry they've developed at club level, England could significantly reduce the adjustment period required for their new style of play. The forward pack also gives me plenty of reasons for optimism. It's clear that the coaching staff is prioritizing players who combine physicality with mobility. Against South Africa, power is always a decisive factor because they are renowned for their physical dominance at the breakdown and in contact situations. England will only be able to compete on equal terms if they can successfully balance strength, speed, and tactical organization. I also think it's wise to retain several experienced veterans within the squad. Their presence provides leadership and composure while helping younger players handle difficult moments during matches. A successful team always needs the right blend of youth and experience. Relying solely on young talent can leave a team vulnerable under pressure, while depending only on older players often limits long-term progress. Another positive sign is that Borthwick appears to be building a squad filled with players capable of performing in multiple positions. In modern rugby, versatility has become increasingly valuable due to demanding schedules and the constant risk of injuries. Players who can adapt to different roles allow coaches to make tactical adjustments during matches without significantly weakening the team. That said, despite all the optimism, I believe supporters should remain patient. A new tactical system cannot be perfected after just a few training sessions or a handful of matches. Players need time to develop chemistry, build instinctive understanding, and fully adapt to new tactical demands. Judging the project solely on the outcome of one game would be unfair to both the players and the coaching staff. Facing South Africa will undoubtedly provide an extremely demanding test. They are famous for their physical style, disciplined defense, and relentless competitive spirit. If England's new system isn't functioning properly, any weaknesses will quickly be exposed. But from my perspective, that's exactly what makes this fixture so valuable. It offers the perfect opportunity to evaluate both the players and the effectiveness of Borthwick's new approach. The thing I admire most about this entire situation is the willingness to embrace change. Sport never stands still. Any team that becomes satisfied with past achievements risks being overtaken by its rivals. Real progress often requires experimentation and accepting short-term setbacks in pursuit of long-term success. That's one of the defining qualities of a visionary coach.
One lesson I take away from this story is that failure doesn't have to be the end. It can become the motivation for transformation. When a strategy no longer works, the answer isn't stubbornly sticking to it, but having the courage to make adjustments. Innovation always involves risk, but without stepping outside your comfort zone, it's difficult to achieve something truly special. For supporters, perhaps the biggest lesson is to judge the team's development with fairness and patience. Introducing many new players inevitably means early mistakes will happen. Rather than criticizing too quickly, fans should encourage the players and give them the confidence they need to grow. Positive support from the crowd can provide enormous motivation for any national team. For the wider sporting community, this story highlights that sustainable success cannot depend solely on established stars. Long-term excellence requires an effective player development system, opportunities for emerging talent, and a healthy competitive environment. When every player has a genuine chance to prove themselves, the overall standard of the sport continues to rise. To conclude, I believe the match against South Africa may officially be labeled as just another test, but its significance goes far beyond that. It's an opportunity for England to validate a new philosophy, assess the next generation of talent, and lay the foundations for long-term success. Whatever the final score may be, the most admirable aspect is the willingness to embrace change, trust new players, and build for the future. Those are the decisions that allow a national team to keep evolving, inspire its supporters, and promote the true values of sport: ambition, unity, perseverance, and belief in long-term development.
Thank you for watching Scrum Masters Elite_UK. We'll see you again in the next video for more top quality rugby updates and analysis.